This is episode 8. The tube front still isn't finished yet because I'm waiting on some parts to get in, and so in the meantime I thought I'd move on to the interior and start stripping the car and getting it ready for all the cage work. Heads up, the footage is going to be a little bit out of order just so I can keep everything together, stripping the car one section, removing the other supports another section, and then removing all the sound deadening in one section, so it might look a little out of order. Regardless, pretty self-explanatory, just going to speed through it. All it is kind of just you see something, you unscrew it, you yank on it, if it still doesn't come off, figure out what's holding it back and unscrew that, and yeah, you don't really need any instruction for it. You kind of just see it, unscrew it, and then pull it out. Okay, so this right here is the controller for the automatic seatbelt, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Now I'm just going to start going from the back end forward, unbolting stuff. Of course, when taking everything off, put a piece of tape around the wire, mark what it goes to, bag up all your screws, mark where the screws go to, and then that way when you put it back together, it's 10 times easier. Alright, now I'm going to be taking off the door panels right now, but I am going to put them back on, and that's because I want to build the roll cage with the door panels, because I like having the door panels. You can rest your arm on it, there's no burning metal, it quiets it down a little bit. And so basically, I'm just going to be taking off, checking out things, and then take off this little lower part right here, because that takes up a lot of room, which is where the door bars are going to go. And of course, every 240 needs a speaker that's not even bolted in, because that's how you do a custom install. Alright, I'm going to undo this for the hood latch. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. This latch is out now. Alright, screw this. I'm gonna take it out. I'm just gonna take it out and then I'll show you how I did it because right now I'm wasting too much video. Alright, there we go, finally. Alright, so there's the carpet, there's a dash, there's a seat and center console, there's some more stuff. So I gotta clean all this up before I can get started on the sound deadening. There's also one ground over here bolted. Alright, this is how it sits now. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing all of the AC and heater components and just clear away all that area. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove the heater lines. And so, yeah, pretty simple, just hose clamps. Jeez, alright, well at least it's off now. Okay, oh, there, yep, there's coolant. Alright, so we have this right here, which is for the air conditioning. Oh, wow, I should have not done that. Definitely should have not done that. Then there's this unit right here, which is for the heater. It has the radiator in here for that, and these are your two heater hoses. Look at this. This is like, do you hear how heavy that is? And this whole entire wall is covered with it. This is honestly like the craziest thing right now, because not only did we remove a whole bunch of weight from here, but we also created a whole bunch of room. And so because of that, like, there's holes over here that are running to the car, to the engine bay. So I mean, because of that, I can easily run a battery relocation to the back. I can easily route, you know, the fuse boxes inside and have them all stored in here behind the fuse box, you know, just with some mounting made up. So it's pretty awesome to go ahead and get all that out, because it saved weight, and then on top of that, it gives me a lot of room to go ahead and then put, you know what I mean, a lot of the stuff that should be in the engine bay normally. Yeah, OEM S13 jack. Boom, that's done. Now I got this one. It's actually pretty crazy. Like, look, this is for the antenna, so you can delete these wires. This one over here is for the rear speaker. You can delete that. This one over here is also for the antenna, so you can go ahead and delete that. I mean, like, look how much, like, just weight and simplicity you get from stripping the car and just taking out everything that's so unnecessary. Like, get out. Alright, so after you figure out that the bolt needs to be completely removed for the steering column, it just comes out super easy, no big deal. Seeing that the interior is basically stripped now, the next thing to do is remove any other pieces of metal that are going to get in the way of building the cage. I want to go ahead and remove these seat brackets back here, as well as this center brace for the roof, because that is just going to get into the way of the roll cage. And so basically just go ahead and drill out the spot welds, kind of just like everything else. Be careful with it, and then that's it. Just take those out. Alright, so basically I drilled these out and I got this area loose, and then what I've noticed is that it's just hard to get the angle that I want on these spot welds over here, and really it's going to be like pretty ridiculous getting into these back corner ones. And so because of that, I'm just going to take the cutoff disc on the grinder. I'm going to go ahead and cut around like so, and then that way I can reach the drill in and then actually drill them out. Heavy. Okay, so you can see what's left. There's two more in the back. That's about it. You mainly just want to be careful, of course, not to go too far with the with a bit, just because then it cuts into the metal that you actually want to keep. So usually you end up cutting into a little bit, but just don't go too far where you actually cut a hole through everything, because that is just not good. Just to give you guys a little perspective, how much is blocking. I had to remove the spot welds for up here on the center brace, and that's because, well, first of all, it's already sagging down. On top of that, the roll cage is, you know what I mean, going to go over here, so this causes a whole bunch of clearance issues. And really, it's fairly unnecessary, especially when you have the roll cage here. You can just weld it, gusset up to the roof, and then boom, you're done. It's 10 times stronger than whatever this is. Okay, that was easy. That was easy. Oh, that was easy. There we go. Okay. With that taken care of, we can move on to removing the sound deadening. As for the reasons on why removing the sound deadening, because I know people are going to ask it, the first one is for weight reduction, because sound deadening actually does weigh quite a bit. Number 2 reason is for the roll cage base plates. The roll cage needs to have bare metal in order to weld the base plates to, and the sound deadening covers a lot of that bare metal, so I'm going to have to remove it in those sections anyways. Number 3 is I'm building this car to follow as many FD Tech regulations as possible. And for Formula Drift, they require that there's no sound deadening in the vehicle, and they don't allow it, and you're not going to pass tech with sound deadening in the vehicle, so that's another one. And then the last one is I'm going to be repainting the car inside, outside, engine bay, everything. And just in my mind, it's just a big no-no to paint a car with the sound deadening in it and paint over the sound deadening. So yeah, those are my 4 reasons for why I'm removing the sound deadening. Alright, so now in order to remove the sound deadening, I have some dry ice. Now dry ice, like if you're in the US, you can pick it up at Smart & Final, or other stores have it, but Smart & Final is where I live, that's where they have it. And basically you take the dry ice, and it's super, super cold, so you put it on top of all the sound deadening and spread it around, and it gets the sound deadening so cold that it becomes brittle, so you can kind of just smack it with a hammer and it'll chip apart. Okay, so this is what I got done on this side so far. Majority of it is out. Now I'm gonna, toss over the dry ice over there, do that section, that extension in the trunk, and then kind of go back and then do the, all the vertical sections that are on the wall. Majority of it done now, and here comes the sad part where you got to clean up your mess before everyone starts flipping out about the condition that you left the garage in. This method I think works the best, which is you basically keep it in the bag you get it, and it's still really cold, but it keeps everything together, and on top of that it seems to melt less. Alright, so now I'm just going to weigh the sound deadening I already took off. So this one right here is just from what we took off from the dash, like behind the dash, the firewall. Okay, so that's 12 pounds. A straight flat 12.0 pounds. And 22.2 pounds for the rest of the car, basically. So you got 34.2 pounds in total. And then on top of that, there's still stuff that I vacuumed up, so really it should be a little heavier than that. But yeah, that's how it is. Okay, so basically the next thing I'm going to do is remove the residue that's left on here from the sound deadening. And so you can basically just use, gasoline works well. I just tested acetone works well. So it's pretty much any of those ones in that category, like mineral spirits, paint thinner, you know what I mean? And then it'll go basically from being looking like this down to like here. And then once you've got it to here, you can basically just start working at doing the smaller pieces. Of course, be sure to wear some gloves, and a respirator if you're working in a really closed environment like this. Yeah. Okay, that wraps up this episode. The next episode is going to be about stitch welding it and basically getting the car prepped for doing the roll cage. That's going to be a good one. Okay, and because I always think my outros are too long, I'm just going to say goodbye right here. Bye. Man, what the? Jeez. My tailbone, dude. Freaking hit it. Stop being a baby, Offbeat.